Hi friends, so halfway point. So I thought I would address some of the comments and questions that I received on some of the past videos. Hey, if you watched the past videos, thank you very much. Thank you. You've hit like and you've commented. Thanks for all those weird comments, by the way. Hey, the past videos were boring. Sorry. Work on a sailboat's boring and it sucks. These are what people don't show you. This is not bikini and beaches. This is the work that you see, whether you buy an older boat that needs work and you get surprises. You can buy a brand new boat. I saw a brand new HH50 in the yard with some D-Lam as well. And hey, you spend that much money, I would be pissed for doing all that work. But hey, whether it's a new boat, whether it's an old boat, gotta do some work. I'll address some comments and some questions. A couple questions. One question I thought was pretty good, and the question was, is it worth it? I did answer that in a previous video. Is it worth it? Well, yes and no. This is a catamaran. She's pretty big. 25 on the beam and 40 in the length. When I'm done with her, because I've added 2 feet or 2.5 feet on the sugar scoops, and with a bow strut on her, she's going to be about 45 to 46 in length. Overall, this is a big boat. So for this size of a boat and the price that I did get it for, no, the price that I did get it for and the condition it in was not a good deal. It was in the ballpark, but was it a good deal? No. But nobody knew about the D-Lam problems. I knew about pretty much everything else in the boat because I did my own survey, and I knew about pretty much everything else in the boat. When I bought the boat, the engines ran fine. They were mismatched engines, and I knew that going into it. I also knew all the conditions and things in it. I knew about it. The biggest hurdle was the D-Lam. Yeah, you could have put a moisture reading up against it, and that mentally would have told you, oh, maybe that's just some holes are wet. But you really wouldn't notice it until you started peeling away. So, is it worth it? Yes. To get a catamaran, even for the price that I did get it for, it's very rare. Nowadays, you'll see all sorts of good catamarans for decent prices. Around the 140 to 220 range, easy enough to get into a very nice catamaran, walk in and be ready to go. But even those catamarans themselves, you're still going to have to drop a significant amount of money to bring it up to par for long-term cruising. And that's my own personal opinion. Your long-term cruising might be different than mine. Key things that I'll enjoy is good power, that I'm making plenty of power, and I can survive all night, all day on whatever I'm making the power from. Could be solar, could be a generator. I don't like generators. Maybe that's your cup of tea. I like solar. I like good alternators through a regulator. And I like lithium batteries. I like the lithium batteries because you can deplete them to much lower, to a 5% or so, and they'll bounce back up to close to 100%. So lithiums have a better range as opposed to those AGMs where if you go below a certain point, 40% or so, you go below 40%, you're in that ballpark of possibly damaging those, and then the AGMs only go back up to about 70, and of the newer ones, 80%. So you're in the range of 40 to 80% on those AGMs. So when you're using power, like let's say you use a refrigerator, you use microwave, you want to run your hot water heater, you want to run your accessories, plug your laptop in, maybe if you're going to do some fun stuff like run a compressor for dive tanks or whatever it might be, running power, you take out the energy of whatever stores your power, you take that energy out. So it goes down and goes back up, down, back up. So that's where the AGMs, you might have a big powerful bank of AGMs, and majority of people have to turn on their big generator and fire up their 7, 8, 9 or whatever kilowatt generator to power up their water maker, to power up their ACs. You you're running this loud generator. So that means you're running more fuel in your generator. That generator also needs a good proper maintenance on a regular basis, because if you run that generator all night, every night, for a long time, just to power up your ACs, or you're going to run your water maker to fill the tanks, that generator is going to take an abuse. And those generators are impossible to get out of some locations. Some of those Leopards with the generators down inside the sugar scoop, and you got to pull it out and up. Some of the Leopards are in the front, and you got to get them out sideways. You know, they're angled in there. They're heavy suckers. So for me, I do not like generators. So I made this boat so I can produce enough power to survive on. About 3,500 watts of solar, 2,200 watts of lithium-ion batteries. Yeah, did I say that right? 3,500 watts of solar, 2,200 amp hours of lithium. That's a lot, but that's what my calculations is. A bit over what I need, but that's what I calculated. So back to my question: is it worth it? This boat gave me an opportunity to put the proper electrical in it, whereas if I would have bought a more expensive boat, I would spend more money and be into it deeper and deeper and deeper. It keeps going. So power. Next thing's water. I don't care what boat you have. I do not care what water maker you have that's built in. I saw a catamaran that had an 80-gallon per hour water maker. Whoa, that's great. But guess what's running that? A generator. Sometimes you just see some of these monohulls that are making 6 gallons, 8 gallons an hour. They have these filtration systems, and this hose is running over a complicated setup. And the Spectra that you'll see in future videos, this boat did have a Spectra water maker in it. I did keep it, but I highly suggest anybody that's thinking about a boat, it does not matter if you're looking for a boat and it has a water maker on it. Do not take it as a selling point. Do not take it as, oh, it has a water maker, I'm going to love it. No. Go out and price out a Rainman water maker. Rainman water maker, I'll show you mine. Simple, easy to use, 37 gallons an hour for one of their bigger ones. And it just, the complexity is not there when you have to do a regular water maker. A regular water maker. So we got power. We need to make water. Power and water. And then the last one, and number 3, is the vessel itself. And that's a complicated one. Many people like to have the back area as warm and welcome, where it's open and sociable, and you can have everything laid out, and you can walk in there and just keep walking through the big screen doors that open up, keep walking through it. Whatever your cup of tea is, but keep in mind how is the boat built? How well is the boat built, and how well can that boat handle some big waves? Hey, if you're gonna get out there, you're going to hit a storm. You're going to hit a storm. So finding a catamaran that can handle some severe weather is very important. This Dean, especially this 400, they are solid ocean-going vessels. They are built strong. They're one piece, like a lagoon where the hulls are glued on to the top. Hulls are glued on the top. Not a big fan of those. They had problems at one time. They may have fixed that. They had problems with some of the bigger boats with some bulkheads, and I know they fixed that. But the price you pay for those boats, they shouldn't be like that. And also, this boat, since it is one piece, it's not really built out of wood. It's a foam core boat, very light for its size. And you saw in some previous videos that I'd cut out some foam. It is a 1996, so yes, whatever owner had it may not have kept up on the bottom. Maybe there were some defects from the manufacturer, I don't know, and I still yet to determine where the DLAM came from, but whatever case it might be, it'll never be that way, and realistically these holes would probably be better than it was even brand new out of the manufacturing, because I've repaired a lot of defects. Defects from the previous owners hitting stuff, defects from the manufacturer as well, because there was a lot of open, what would you call them? Open grooves or holes, not holes, but divots where it wasn't faired over right. And you saw in the previous video, this is why I skimmed it with some fairing, just to kind of close up those holes, those cracks. This is a thin layer of epoxy. I put another one over it, and so with epoxy, especially 2 coats of epoxy, watertight seal is great, as opposed to back in the day when they just used polyester. Polyester is not watertight. Vinyl ester is, but polyester is not. All right, so those are the 3 things that I'm talking about. Since I'm halfway, it's a boring video, like 10 minutes of a boring video. But very important that you get out there. If you're going to look at a boat and don't end up in my situation, if you are brand new, instead of dropping a lot of money, go out and crew. Go out and be a guest. Hey, join me on Snow Day. Click down below at the website and book a cabin. You're more welcome to come on to Snow Day, and I will be more than happy to show you how to sail. We put up the sails, show you the rigging, answer any questions you might have, take you out. I'd be more than happy to do that. But in any case, wherever you are in the world, get out on a friend's boat or hop on, download a crew app, and you'll see that wherever you are, people are always looking for crew. So get out and crew. That's the first important.
It's a snow